Six secrets I've never heard on YouTube about financial independence. Folks, just like you, I'm a junkie for YouTube. I spend a couple hours a day learning, mainly around finance, but I like learning about history and black holes and just different things. But finance is probably where I spend most of my time. And, there's some things that impact my financial independence that I never hear anybody talking about. So today I thought I would bring up six of them that should be controversial. I think I'll get a lot of comments on these, but there are things that I have found that I think are important to let people know about, and nobody else is talking about them. So let's jump right into them. Number one, a lot of people talk about hiring a financial advisor. Should they go this alone? Should they go with a fee-only financial advisor? I think about 30% of the people go with a financial advisor. But here's something you didn't know. If you happen to have $1 million, now don't roll your eyes. There's a lot of you folks do, a lot of people I talk to do. If you do have $1 million and you stay in the same fund family, like Fidelity or American Funds as examples, a free financial advisor will be given to you if you have $1 million. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. You don't have to pay this 1% assets under management. So, I'll leave a link below to my guy I use. He's at Northwestern. He gets paid out of the expense ratio. That's actually surprise or secret number two, is financial advisors actually get some money out of the expense ratio. So if you do have $1 million, you have the ability to go to a financial advisor, meet with them, talk with them as much as you want. It's not the full service financial advisor, but it's like 80%, which is great. Great. And like I said, I'll leave a link to my guy and his phone number. Please call him. Hopefully we'll overwhelm him with a couple hundred phone calls. So that's number one. A free financial advisor is available to you if you have the right amount of funds. 1 million is typically what I've found. Nobody talks about this. I had to pry it out of my financial advisor as I was walking out the door when I was interviewing them. So number two, I already mentioned it, is the financial advisors do get money out of the expense ratio of anything that you have. So they are making a little bit more than just assets under management. And if you do get the free one, they do get money out of the expense ratio. Hey, and why would they do this? Why would they do this? Number one, hey, if I happen to die, my wife will probably go with the full service assets under management. So that's a perk. Number two perk for the financial advisor is they get access to me and my friends. I may recommend my friends go to this guy or person. So that's they have access. I know my guy has told me that 14 people have signed up with him because of me. And that's not me selling, life insurance, to my friends. It's me saying, hey, I use this guy. I like him. Here's what he's done for me. The last thing is, there's going to be some conversion of some folks. Yeah, you're not paying asset under management right now, but 5 years into this, 10 years into it, you may switch over because you want the full service. So there's a lot going for the financial advisor to get you in the door with this free service. So, and I've been dealing with my guy for 4 years now. So number three thing, secret, you don't hear about it on YouTube, is fear of failure is the number one reason I have found that people hire a financial advisor. This is what people come to me. People are telling me, all my sources say, I'm scared. I'm doing this alone. I want confidence in my plan. I want somebody to run this by. So what's the problem? The problem is, you're afraid, okay? And a financial advisor is one solution, knowledgeable person that can help you through that process. It's a good solution for many. But are there other solutions? Can you start a retirement group, financial independence group? The information's all out there. It's not that complicated. You can do it. A lot of people, and everybody can't do this, but they call me. They just want somebody to bounce some ideas off. I don't charge very much. I got a link below, but if you're interested, I do 4 or 5 a week, where we just talk for about an hour. But you got to decide if a financial advisor is worth it. Confidence is really worth it, especially in a down market. But if you have $1 million, that's $10,000 a year compounding. It's very, very expensive going through a financial advisor if you can do it by yourself. And it could be a part-time job for you in retirement. $10,000 a year sounds like a lot. Okay, number 4 thing nobody talks about on YouTube is the new retirement software that I have a link below. Click on it. You get 2 weeks free. 2 weeks free. Click on the link below. It's a comprehensive financial independence retirement software. It's the same one, not exactly the same, but essentially the same as what you're going to see at a financial advisor. They don't have some magic software that you can't get access to. You can buy this new retirement, it's $120 for the year, and you can do all the things that they do, all the simulations, all the Roth conversion stuff, recommendations, all the taxes, excuse me, and Monte Carlo simulations, all those things you can do yourself. Even if you have a financial advisor, look how much more rich the conversation is going to be if you walk in the door, your hour with them, you walk in the door with most of your questions already answered and you did a lot of homework yourself. Much richer conversation. And I couldn't imagine going through my retirement without the new retirement software. And it's the same as what you're going to get from a financial advisor. Come on, why does nobody talk about that? Number 5, there's, everybody's looking for the right plan, the right retirement plan, financial independence plan, independence plan. Everybody's different. A lot of these comments and people that you're dealing with on YouTube, they may have a pension. So they got $50,000 a year pension coming in, and then they got a $30,000 Social Security coming in. They got $80,000, and they talk about what they're doing. Well, that could be completely different than what you're doing if you have no pension, So a lot of times I'll get into a debate with somebody, and they say, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And I end up finding out that they've got this, big pension. And I go, well, it's easy to be confident. It's easy to take risk. It's easy to say, I won't touch I won't touch or panic during a down market because, you got a pension coming in. So there's no perfect plan. Stop comparing yourself to others because you have a different job, you have a different health, you have different risk profile, different pensions, different amount of money, all that, different company matching on a 401k. Everything is so different. So there's no right plan out there, despite what people tell you on YouTube, and everybody's looking for the perfect plan that applies to everybody. It's not out there, and that's why you get so many damn different opinions. So, hey, no one talks about managed funds, actively managed funds being better than index funds. I'm going to continue on the whiteboard. So everybody talks about low-cost index funds, passively managed funds, and they know 90% of actively managed funds get beat by the indexes, okay? So everybody quotes that, and I love passively managed funds, just total VTI, for example, total stock market funds. But I don't know if I'm special, but when somebody says 90% get beat, I go to the 10% and say, well, who's beating this? And then are they beating this, over the long term, not just a flash in the pan? So most of my investments are actually in American funds. I have about a 0.6 expense ratio. And I don't pay a load on that. If you go to like some brokers, you have to pay 5.75% sales load up front on this. I do not do that. I got involved in American funds with my 401k at my company. I've had them for 35 years. Okay. So the investments that I'm going to go into detail in just a second here on the whiteboard, I've had for decades, decades. So I'm not just cherry picking information. I'm just sharing what I have done. Now, full disclosure, if I was starting now and just had money sitting in cash, I would probably go in low cost index funds. But the results of my portfolio of American funds have beaten them over the decades. So I don't have a reason to change. So, when I'm looking at 5-year period, 10-year period, 20-year period, they're beating them. And indexes have won in the last 10 years, but guys, keep in mind, we've been in like we're in a bear market right now here in the early 2023, but going from like 2009 through 2021, most of our recent memory is just an exceptional bull market for especially large caps. That's not typical. That's not typical when you take a broader view and you zoom out the last 50 years. You folks know I'm an engineer. I have a hard time not making database decisions. So when I look at managed funds, when they're looking at, fundamentals of a business, that makes sense to me. To me, you look at the S&P 500 and you look at where, trends are going with innovation and technology. There's some companies in there that, look like losers. So instead of the S&P 500, why don't you pick the 10 worst companies, knock them out, and you have the S&P 490? Would that be better? That could actually make sense to me. Maybe I'm just simple. Now, I understand with managed funds, there is a tax drag on it, okay? And I'm not going to go into that, but there is a tax drag. And for most people, buying American funds, if you don't have $1 million or it's not in your 401k, you're going to pay a sales charge. And there's absolutely no way I would buy these funds with a 5.75 sales charge up front. Absolutely no way. So, hey, I may lose going forward, going with managed funds. It makes sense to me, and I've won the last 35 years. Let me go into a little detail. All right, there's going to be a homework assignment for you. Portfolio Visualizer. It's free package. Type that in, and you can compare funds, okay? That's what I did here. Here are 5 funds that I have used for decades that are American funds. AMCAP, New Perspective, Growth Fund of America, Washington Mutual, Fundamental Investors. Here's the ticker symbols that you could type into Portfolio Visualizer. I have 20% each of those in my bucket 3 for those people that are wondering or know that I use the bucket approach. Okay, now my comparison funds are VTSMX. Now, why did I use that instead of like VTI? Well, this goes back farther in time, okay? It's still an index. And then VGTSX is total global index that I used, okay? So I selected those just so I could go back farther in time. These went back to 97, so I could compare different time periods up to 25 years. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And I'd go back more if I could, but that's all I could. Now, what I did is I did an 80-20 split of these funds. So 80% in this one, 20% in this one. And that gives me about 15% international here. These funds over here, have some international in it. They're not pure, S&P 500 funds. It has some mid cap and some small cap. And I do agree and want to recognize that the factors, are rather the returns probably can be explained by the exposure to different risk profiles like value and size. Okay, probably can be explained by that. But the folks at the Capital Group move in and out of small cap, mid cap, large cap, international based on fundamentals, okay? These are just indexes that just invest in everything, okay? So when you take a look at that, 80-20, these are pretty close to the same. So let's take a look at a 12-year period, and I picked 12 years just, because it's, 2010 is a nice round number. So 2010 to 2012, the American funds beat these indexes by 0.5%. Not a whole lot, but over 10 years, that's real money, okay? And this already has the expense ratio taken out. Now, this, if you remember, that was the big year of large caps, okay? So large caps won the day here. Okay, let's go back to 97 to 2012, or a 25-year period. The American funds beat by 1.5%. That's real, that's serious money now. That's serious money, okay, over the 25-year period. And hey, the lost decade was in there. How did they do during this lost decade? So I put in 2000 to 2010, the American funds beat these indexes by 2.5%. That is huge. That is huge, okay? So, hey, folks, those were my 6 secrets, surprises, things that nobody talks about on YouTube. Did I surprise you with any of these? Did any of them shock you? Do you disagree with any of them? You know, especially number 6, I expect a lot of grief here. Just to be honest, like I already said, if I just had a pile of cash and was going to invest it, I would go in low-cost index funds. But I'm sitting here year after year looking at my portfolio of these managed. Look at what the future of, just because the last 10 years have been great for index funds doesn't mean the next 10, next 20 is going to be great for index funds. And these American funds that have really have held up well. So give me a comment. If nothing else, tell me where you're from. Tell me you disagree. Did you know all 6 of these? Just, leave me a comment in there and say how many of these 6 did you know? How many do you disagree with? Just tear up the comments. This is Joe out.